And we're live.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's the one, the only V, the Grill Economist, coming to you live. And you know what day it is? It's Wednesday. And when it's Wednesday, you know. You know that you know that you know. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Because it's Hump Day with the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Sultan of Silver, the Baron of Bitcoin himself, the Gandalf of Gold, the Pathfinder on the road to Ruta, the man who wears his heart on his sleeve and spaghetti stains on his tie. I'm talking about none other than the enigma, the myth wrapped in the riddle. Bix Weir. Bix, what's up, buddy?
I am in awe and shocked and excited about what is happening right now with Trump.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I was very impressed by this move. CJ and I were elated.
We're gonna look back at this moment and this time and say the Trump 180 has turned into a full 360.
Yeah,
and
well,
he's
360 means
back on track. Oh yeah. He has gotten exactly what he needed to do. He knew at this point that there would be no way that the Democrats and the deep state would ever drop the Russia thing.
Right.
And they were it would go on forever. So what he fires Comey, and I don't think there's anything holding him back from his original plan to take down the system anymore. So I expect, and just as icing on the cake to prove it, as soon as he met with the Russian ambassador today.
Yep, Lavrov, the foreign minister, Lavrov.
Yep. That everybody was saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this."
What a boss maneuver! What a boss maneuver!
He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Doesn't care. He fires Comey and then he meets with Lavrov, and Lavrov's the number 2 guy behind Putin. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, and he's basically, and even bigger is who he met right after that.
Who?
Kissinger.
Oh,
in the Oval Office.
Wow.
He brought Kissinger in to tell him, "I'm going to rip you a new one. You either stop this deep state stuff or you're going to go down with everybody else."
I bet Kissinger said, "We are trying to keep our new world order. Please, Mr. Trump. Please, Mr. Trump, don't arrest me."
Yeah, I mean, Kissinger is one of the key upper elites in the criminal enterprise known as the deep state within the United States and around the world. I mean, if you're looking for, I would say he was one of 3 or 4 potential top of the bad guys.
He's a capo of the New World Order. Him, Baker, Cyrus Vance. These guys are the capos, man.
To me, it's a clear sign that he told Kissinger, "I'm not going to play the game anymore. I am going to do what I came here to do, use my judgment to destroy what you have built and to put something closer resembling a republic back into the United States of America. I'm going to fix all the wrongs that these bad guys have perpetrated, and you're not going to do anything about it, or I'm going to take you out." That's, I think, the message was to Kissinger, and he said, "You better tell all your minions that anybody does anything ever again to try to subvert my presidency, I'm going to take them out faster than they can blink an eye."
Man, I tell you right now, man, this move, nobody could look at this move and say, "Hey, this move is political theater." There's nothing political theater about it. This was a very key. This guy was, I called him, Comey Jabroni. I called him the cock block Comey because he was the one blocking any sort of real investigation. You have to remember, folks, this is the guy who would not allow Hillary Clinton to testify under oath. He would not allow any of the people that worked for BleachBit or any of Hillary's department officials that worked under her to speak without passing out immunity like it was Jolly Rancher candy, bro. Don't forget this guy, folks. Don't forget this guy. This guy he was the little boy with his finger in the dike, holding back any sort of investigation from going in and upsetting the whole entire Clinton cabal.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a sign. This isn't a sign to the Democrats. This is a sign to the deep state.
Yes, it is.
That things are going to change, and they're going to change very rapidly. So I expect to see massive chaos coming out. And notice we're also at peak Dow, peak stock market, peak housing. and we're at the low point for gold and silver because they've rigged it so low. Silver especially. Silver is the killer. Silver
Yes.
will destroy everything that these bad guys have built on the monetary system side. And that was always the plan for silver in the very since since the 60s when Greenspan implemented the road to Ruta theory and started rigging the markets with computers. It was going to play out to the very end, and at the very end, it was always silver that would be the one that would kill the bad guys. That's why J.P. Morgan's loaded up on 600 million physical ounces. So yeah, we're getting there. I mean, if you looked at, the silver market, what's it at $16? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I even sold Bitcoin to go buy silver. That's how ridiculous it is. But if you look at, I just looked at the Silver Eagle sales for this year. Nothing. The first month was like 5 million. And on average, it was going up for years, 35, 45, 50 million ounces sold, even with their allocation. And, they'd stop making them for a while because they ran out of silver. But it turns out that the major buyer was J.P. Morgan. And after January, J.P. Morgan literally stopped buying silver. All that tells me is there's not enough left.
Yeah, I mean, right now we had a guy who was a major executive over at a silver mining company stating the very same thing that right now, even with all the manipulation, just on the supply side alone, silver should be about $140 per ounce.
Oh, a lot more than that. It should have been $140 when the Hunt brothers had 100 million ounces of it, and it went to 50. And now J.P. Morgan has 600 million ounces. Why isn't J.P. Morgan busted for silver manipulation when the Hunt brothers only had 100 million ounces?
They're being coddled, man.
Well, now computers play a much higher role, largest role in the pricing of silver than they did in the 80s. The COMEX was around in the 80s, but it wasn't as powerful in the silver market as it is today. The COMEX and the LBMA. LBMA is falling apart because they claim it's a physical market, and everybody's going into the physical market to get physical, and they can't find it. They can't get the kind of demand that is coming through, especially from Asia. And smart people who are just clamoring to get their hands on silver, especially at $16 an ounce. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It truly is, and it's being gifted. So use this opportunity as a chance for people to go out there and get it. Just go out and get it. It's a great thing to have. It's a great thing to hold.
Especially if you've been listening to us and have some Bitcoin gains. Bitcoin will do well in the long run, but it's ready for a pullback at some point, only because it's run so high so fast. I mean, what a great time to flop some of those gains into some silver.
Yeah, it's a great time to be in alternative asset classes, period.
Oh, yeah. And ultimately, I'm not advocating trading Bitcoin because I'm not so sure. I put a video out this week about the 3 trigger points that Bitcoin has coming up. One is the $1,900 parity with the old gold price. And I think that point you'll see a pullback in Bitcoin, just because they'll get a lot of news and everybody say, well, I'll just get some gold in, just so I have a more physical asset than my physical Bitcoin. But the other one's the $2,000 mark because everybody gets all giddy around the big round numbers. So $2,000 mark will make the news. And then the doubling of the old Mt. Gox high is like $2,300, $2,400. Those, I think, are the 3 key points that the big traders are looking for. But then again, the traders and the manipulators in Bitcoin don't have as much power, and there's so many big players waiting in the wings for the next dip that whatever happens to spark the dip, like a closing of an exchange or something like that, I don't think it will last very long at all because there's so many big players that want to get in. They're just looking for a pullback.
Yeah.
And then it might not pull back at all. And then you got money chasing after Bitcoin, which would be cool.
It would be, man. It truly would. What else do you see happening, man? The whole Comey bust. I'm still reeling. Everybody's reeling from it. Everybody's trying to make sense of this whole entire thing. What's on your radar in regards to that? Have you talked to any of your sources? What are they saying? And what's your projection on the next several weeks that are ahead? Oh, by the way, FYI, for those that don't know, and I forgot to mention this morning on the morning show, there was a major, major, major pedo bust shortly after they busted the guy who owned the Playpen website that was on the dark web. This pedo bust was in the Philippines, a 53-year-old American man, a skeevy, disgusting-looking gentleman, to say the least, was busted. He had over 30 hard drives. It was the largest pedo bust in the Philippines. And the Philippines is a hotbed of pedo trafficking, if you don't know, giving you guys a heads up there. So they caught him. They are also right now, they also recovered all the names, addresses, phone numbers, whatnot of a lot of his clients, so that you're going to expect more further busts. And all those lead to back to the Western, leads back to Europe, leads to the United States. I'm telling you, this was right hot on the heels of that big Playpen bust, Bix.
It's awesome.
Huge.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
and that's what we want to see. And every time they arrest one of the suppliers of the kids, they get their contacts, they get their information, they get their they already have it, truthfully, because the NSA and the CIA steal all emails and they know everything that's going on every computer. The question is, when are they going to pull the plug on some of the bigger names within Congress? And that is going to be, you think the firing of Comey is a constitutional crisis. That's what the Democrats are saying. This is a constitutional crisis. Democrats are absolutely terrified because they know that if they get a real head of the FBI in there, that they will be taken out and tarred and feathered for what they've done on the illegal crimes.
Bix, rumor has it the name Giuliani is being floated around, buddy. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know how much good guy and how much bad guy he is. I really don't know. I'm hoping he's a good guy, but I really don't know. And there's just too many connections on 9/11 that don't really make sense with Giuliani.
Yeah.
And I mean, anybody who takes a half a look into 9/11, a tiniest peek into 9/11, knows that the official story is the biggest lie ever told in America. And that singular event changed the United States so drastically that anybody who is involved with it or knew pieces and parts that they're not saying, I don't know. I don't know. If he gets in, I'm afraid that there'll be a lot more waffling, when they pick and choose who they're going to bust, because he's got a lot of connections and friends who are pedophiles as well. I don't know if he is, but I do know that he runs in the circle, especially of Jeffrey Epstein in New York and all those guys. Trump was running in those circles too. Is Trump on the list of pedophiles to be busted? I think if he is, then he should be busted. I think everybody involved with that needs to be taken out and tried. And if they did it, if they did something wrong, they need to either go to jail or a slap on the wrist if it's something not very meaningful. But if it is something meaningful, like a lot of these people have done, I think there shouldn't be anybody who is shielded from the prosecution of the pedophilia ring, of the real dark and bad stuff within our government.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that, man. But anyway, these guys are absolutely terrified of what's going on. The deep state is in a panic at this point.
They should be. They should be. And everybody, you especially, you too, V, who thought Trump was gonna, had turned to the dark side, and
I was just mad about the missile strike. That's all. I told you I was on suicide watch.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, striking an empty airfield, big deal. But you did keep an open mind, and you have been looking for rays of sunlight. So here's your gigantic ray of sunlight. And from here on out, I don't expect Trump to kowtow to anybody anymore.
No, I agree with you. I think it's
game on. Game on.
It's game on. It's game on, man. It really is. It really is.
But we had, you're right. We had a couple months where it's like, oh my God, what in the world is
What the
happening?
hell is going on? I'm like, that's it. I'm on suicide watch. What do I do? CJ had to like walk me off the cliff. I was gonna climb the Empire State Building and just like my great uncle King Kong
Yeah.
once did in 1934, I was going to do the same thing. And
Well,
CJ
if you
called
think
me and he
about
walked
it,
back.
what Trump did by, kind of kowtowing to everybody, and he got a lot of things delayed until September. He got, a couple things just delayed, and that's what ultimately he got done is he got some of the Russian thing off his back so that he could make this move that he made today. But he also got the implosion of the financial system pretty much delayed until September. Everything's delayed until September, and now I think everything is back on the table about what Trump can do to drain the swamp, because he no longer is going to pussyfoot around. I mean, after this, you can tell the first thing he does after firing Comey is invites the number 2 guy of Russia into his office and said, "Let's talk."
Let's talk. Let's put all this BS aside. Let's take out the deep state. Let's avert World War III. Let's drain the swamp. Let's get these the Wall Street cabal. Let's put an end to these guys.
I am with you. I think we're going to look back at the firing of Comey as the turning point for Trump, and
Very
from
pivotal.
here on out, it's very exciting. I'm excited, and I don't get excited that often. I'm really excitable.
Oh man, the thing is this, man. It's like I said, this is not political grandstanding. This is a real event. This really happened. This is not something that's made up. This is not like for show. There is a serious implications behind Comey getting whacked.
Yeah, and I think the most exciting thing is I think the NYPD will be allowed to do their job and release the confiscated information from Uma Abedin's laptop. Remember, Uma Abedin's mother was the founder of the Muslim Sisterhood.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
How she got to where she was is phenomenally odd. She was an intern for Hillary Clinton when Monica Lewinsky was an intern for Bill in the White House. So yeah, she was definitely a plant, and because Hillary Clinton didn't know how to use any electronic devices back then, she relied a lot on Uma Abedin. So Uma was basically Hillary's human computer operator. That every email, Uma had access to everything that Clinton had and would forward it to her home printer, so it wasn't printed at the office. Just crazy stuff. And then they kept it all in a file at the Weiner household.
And Anthony Weiner gets caught sexting a 15-year-old girl.
I heard he's in hiding. Has anybody seen him lately?
I have not seen him. I know he came out of rehab, and God knows where he went. I haven't seen him.
That guy is probably a piece of work.
He is a skeevy guy, dude. He really is.
Yeah. But hey, so yeah, we're back on track. We're moving right along. So now what I'm telling all my people to do is start prepare for that ultimate financial collapse that we have been talking about for so long. So you got to get all your money out of the system, have no third party between you and your assets, stock up on food, stock up on water, make a plan with your neighbors. That's a huge thing. If you have neighbors, I know they think you're crazy when you say, hey, we got a plan for the Armageddon. But if you go over and say, hey, the weather's changing, we should make a plan for a hurricane or a blizzard or an earthquake if you're in California. And we should just have a group of people and make some kind of plan how we can group together in case our basic services are turned off. And I think that's very important to kind of refresh. For me, it's, this is 8 years in the making that I've been preparing. So some of my, dried food is already spoiled. So I got to, rethink the supplies that I use. and just go through everything. It's been a long time since, we were kind of sitting on the brink, and I think we are definitely on the brink. We were on the brink in 2008, in September of 2008. Will it make it to September of 2017? It could, but we will definitely be wobbling and staggering into September. So definitely get all your Bitcoin offline. What else? Get food and water. One of the things that I was talking about in a video I made this morning is be prepared to learn to make it a different kind of living than you're making today. So if you're working in the financial industry, you better have a backup job
You better learn how to be a
completely
pig
different
farmer
industry.
quick.
Yeah. I mean,
You better start learning how to herd goats or something.
Anything, because first of all, we're going to need it, because the crashing of the banks means the end of globalization. So we're not going to be importing anything from China. We're not getting our food from South America. We're going to have to start making things on our own again and feeding ourselves again. If you're, I keep saying the financial industry is a huge part of our economy now, but after the crash, it will be a tiny part of our economy. So you're going to have to find another profession. It's
going to go back to how it should be, a small part of the economy, not the economy.
Correct. The things that will be in demand, obviously food, and any craftsman. If you can build something, if you can make something, if you're good at knitting, get ready to knit a bunch of sweaters. Go out and load up on yarn. That's my advice. Go load up on yarn, because all the stuff won't be available either. The basic supplies for whatever profession or whatever it is you choose to do, because most of the stuff is sourced from around the world right now, and it gets shipped in containers. And that is not going to work. Without a financial system, none of that happens. That flow stops. The just-in-time delivery system will stop. So it really get back to community awareness, community markets. And it's kind of like I've forgotten about that stuff. So I put an old article I wrote called The Final Checklist for Everyone. I'm putting it, I'll have it up today, on the front of my webpage at roadtorudo.com. But I wrote it in 2008. In January of 2008, getting ready for the collapse that happened in September. So yeah, very exciting times. And it's really coming back to those old ways of thinking, of preparing for an upheaval in our current society and the way we look at how we move forward from here.
Absolutely. Your take on the latest cryptos, man. What's going on?
Well, some people have gotten fabulously rich off the alt cryptos that they're buying. Those are extremely volatile. Yeah, they'll go up 200, 300, 400%, and they'll crash 300, 400%. That's the thing. When things crash, they crash a lot faster than they are going up. And some of these cryptos have just gone off the charts, and which is great. I mean, it's great, but you got to remember also that just because something goes up in price on an exchange doesn't mean there's any value underneath it. And a market, when you look at the value of anything that is on an exchange, all you're looking at really is the last trade. So you can look at Bitcoin and say, yeah, it's $1,700, and then you times that by the amount of coins out there, and you get a market cap for Bitcoin, and you think, oh, there's 20 something billion in value there. No, it's not. The $1,700 was just the last trade. So as long as people continue to believe that, it's going to stay there. And if they're willing to, buy and sell at that price, and these markets are not as liquid as most people think. And also the exchanges are still rehypothecate a lot. They're not blockchain transactions when you go buy something on an exchange. It's only until you take it out of that exchange is it a true blockchain transaction. So the Japanese exchanges right now are getting all the volume because the Japanese government has not stopped the crazy trading volumes of phantom Bitcoin. Chinese government has pretty much stopped it, but the Japanese haven't. So all the volume's happening in Japan now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as crazy cryptos that I like, there's one called Veritasium, Verita. Veritas. It just came out. Reggie Middleton. It's a crypto coin based off of the Ethereum blockchain, and it's just in the kind of the introduction phases. But he is selling. They are offering coins already, and the only reason I ended up getting some just because I haven't taken a flyer on any of these cryptos. And it doesn't even trade yet, I don't think, on any exchange. But Cliff High said it was in the data. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And it could be in the data for, the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. It could be in the data for, it could be in the data for anything. I didn't put much money into it. But I think there's over 700, well over 700 cryptocurrencies now. And most of them will go away in due time.
Yeah, I mean, most of them will. I mean, Ripple did a really great move. I reported on that this morning.
What was that?
Ripple?
I know what Ripple is. What move did they do?
Well, what Ripple did is they had a major jump. I think it was like a 50-some-odd% jump. They are right now the second most used crypto, positioned in terms of capitalization above Ethereum.
Are
second
they?
to Bitcoin.
Did they make a jump?
And dude, they're only 12 cents. They're only 12 cents. They got picked up by over 12 major banks in Japan, which is huge.
Well, yeah, Ripple is a bankster crypto. So it should go up because there's so much free money at the banks. But remember, the reverse will happen if the banks are crashing and need liquidity. So where would they find liquidity? Oh, in their couple $1 billion in cryptocurrency that they have. So as soon as the banks stumble, they'll start selling off assets, and it's great going up, but coming down's a bitch.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't think that the banks will wobble for at least another few weeks or months.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible, man. Your take on the situation with the markets, and what about this troop deployment I'm hearing in Afghanistan, man? What's your take on that?
Anything military now is all focused towards taking out the strongholds of the bad guys. We all know that ISIS is a creation of the CIA, and they can shut it off at any moment, shut off financially, and it disappears in the blink of an eye. And they've always had the power to do that. But do they choose to do it? When you control every bank account in the world with a computer program that you can zero it out to nothing. That's a big power. And the United States, you don't know when they're going to use it, but they'll use it when they need to, because they've embedded software in every single computer in the world, and there's no getting around it. They will listen to you. They can mess with you. They can mess with our phone call right now. They can do a whole lot of things that you would never know. Oh my God, my system crashed and I lost all my Bitcoin. It could have been a click of a mouse at a CIA station in the middle of Arizona. You just don't know. But we do know from the WikiLeaks documents of Vault 7 that they have embedded code in every computer and every electronic asset out there.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Everybody's kind of forgot about that. But that's a pretty big deal, because they can shut you down. Everybody who's worried about a cashless society with giving the government ability to shut people off out of the financial system. Yeah, it's absolutely true, but they can do that right now. Because we all need some form of electronic interaction these days, because grocery stores aren't taking silver mercury dimes as payment for groceries. They will, I think, at some point, but they aren't right now. So we all have to be involved, and knowing that the people within the government have embedded programs into every single electronic tool out there. It's right. It's kind of numbing. and you just don't know. The ultimate conclusion is that they all have to be replaced. Every handheld device, every laptop, every computer, every computer component within every car, every machine tool, it all has to be replaced to have any confidence. And then when they do replace it, you don't know if there's code in that new one that does the same thing. It's just hidden farther. So we are screwed. When you go down that rabbit hole, it's kind of it's numbing, and then ultimately, but it's also kind of freeing. It's kind of like people who try to hide all their information and stay off grid. That's a lot of work. It's kind of freeing to know that your government knows absolutely everything about everything you do at every moment of the day, and if they choose to act on it, they will.
I feel so safe and liberated.
It's such a sad message I'm sending today.
You are. We started off great. Now I'm depressed, and I'm going back on the ledge, the suicide ledge, and I have CJ talk me off. Anyway, man.
What else have you been? What have you guys been doing? I haven't been able to get on your site for a couple of days. I've been too busy. What have you guys been dealing with? Anything exciting?
Well, we're expanding the empire. I can't unveil all the details as of yet.
You're widening the jungle?
We're widening the guerrilla jungle. It's the rogue empire is beginning to expand. So we will definitely keep you abreast as further developments occur. We're just not ready to unveil all the juicy details. But good things, man. We'll be keeping busy.
You got to make money somewhere because YouTube
is
just killing us.
Yeah. There's, I'm going to be back in full effect in about a week or so. I'm going to be, start writing again. I'm going to have some more time freed up. So my hardcore analysis will be out and about. It'll be classic guerrilla. It's been a while. It's been a very long time.
Are you going to go on? Are you on Steam It yet?
Yeah, we're on Steam It. CJ had it set up over there on Steam It. And where else are we, CJ? We're everywhere you want us to be.
Everywhere. And Bix, we just implemented new technology, so we are simulcasting right now to Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere right now, so
that's cool.
Exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and the podcast, man.
So we got to watch our language now, right? We got to watch our language.
No. Forget language. We're gonna get Gus Demas on. We're gonna launch a show called Cuss with Gus.
I know. I am waiting for that show. I want to be your first guest on that show.
You got it. You were the first guest on the first Cuss with Gus.
I bet Gus when we were down in Acapulco for the Acapulco conference. We had a bet. He said that Bitcoin was just hitting about $1,000, and he said, "Oh, it'll go down to 500." I go, "No way! It's blowing past 1,500," and we made a bet, and he obviously
time to collect,
lost.
buddy.
He lost, so I got to get him my address to send them all. Have him send me all the silver we bet.
Oh, God!
It was a big loss for him. It's a big loss.
Wow. How much did you bet, if you don't mind me asking?
I can't divulge that.
Oh, but it was big, huh?
Well, he's such a big player, it probably didn't even affect him. But for me, yeah, I can send my kids to college.
No way.
a local junior college, maybe.
That's fine, but still.
For a day.
For a day.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Bix, start a GoFundMe for it.
Yeah, really. GoFundMe.
I'm just gonna send my kid over to some international school. Go study medicine in Beijing. That's what I'm gonna do. But Dad, I don't want you going. You're gonna go to Hong Kong. You're gonna learn engineering. That's just
and you gotta learn. Yeah, you gotta learn Mandarin these days.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's the question. I would push my kids towards more Spanish, because I think the mining down there in South America is huge when the system crashes. So yeah, learn your Spanish. If you're a kid thinking about where to start a career, think international mining consultant, bilingual. That'd be pretty cool.
There you go. Or go out to the east where they're consuming all this stuff at massive quantities.
Yeah, that's true. And the question I have with China, Obviously, they're going into every country to soak up the natural resources all that they can. But in the crashing of the monetary system, I'm wondering how much natural resources China really has on its own land. They're stockpiling, obviously, but they don't talk much about it, about how natural resource rich or poor China is. But I think that's almost every country. They all hide, except the stupid countries. They all hide what the natural resources are in the ground. The United States is notorious for it.
Yeah. No, China's the same thing. They have a ton of natural resources they don't touch. They just they import everything using the paper system that we concocted.
Oh yeah,
they're using it against us, and then once that's done, they'll be ready to roll out their whole thing. Dude, I talked to guys over there. I mean, you go to the ports over there, they have warehouses stockpiled with cobalt, with vanadium, with zinc, molybdenum, aluminum. I mean, just stockpiled with all this stuff.
Yeah,
not touching it. They're just stockpiled.
It's amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing the United States has been doing.
Oh yeah,
we haven't been stockpiling per se, but every time we find anything in the ground, we'll put it in a natural resource wildlife preserve, and we'll call it the Anwar province up in Alaska, or Chocolate Mountain down in California. Dianne Feinstein has just cordoned off so much of California. 41% of California's land is owned by the federal government. Isn't that crazy? And it's all gold rich areas and very exciting for the future.
We should make a toast.
Hey, V, I feel kind of selfish, but I want to ask you both a question for myself. Is that okay?
Sure.
How dare you?
How dare you?
So Trump this week has coming up his first foreign trip, and it's huge, with Saudi Arabia and Israel. So what do you guys think those discussions are going to look like?
Oh, that's a good one. Bix, I'll let you go first.
It's all about the deep state now. I think everything is about the changing from the old to the new. Israel obviously is in charge of the banking system, and who knows? I think it'll be all right. The times have changed. With Saudi, it's the end of the petrodollar, and there's a lot of talk that the Saudis have very little oil left because they're buying all these offshore rigs. If they had a lot of oil in the ground, they would have just, because it's much more expensive to pull in oil from offshore.
Right.
So I think the world is changing. I think a lot of the old dominant players and behind the scenes are getting chucked, tossed out, and then you kind of remove yourself and say, this is just one little level of reality, and then there's the whole breakaway civilization that soaks up all these funds that goes into our space program and all that, and it's like, oh my God, what's really the most important thing? If we really do have spacecraft that can travel anywhere within our solar system, is all this stuff that we talk about so important? Maybe there's tons and tons and trillions of tons of gold sitting on Mars that is being mined right now. We don't know what goes on that side. We do know that it soaks up a lot of the money. Catherine Austin Fitts has been talking about it a lot lately. How do we fund these two societies? One is the one on the surface that the people see, and the other one is the deep state, breakaway civilization that is exploring the universe.
Yeah.
And do you open up that Pandora's box to the world and say, oh, by the way, we are so far past what you think we are, and here's an amazing future. And that's kind of what Trump talked about in his speech when he got sworn in. And I think that's what we're headed for the rest of the year after all these secrets are revealed. So I think it's exciting. But the trip to talk to Israel and the Saudis, that's old school. That's the old guard that have controlled us for so long. So it's going to be all right. Times have changed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's gonna probably just go there and look, the Middle East is lost to the U.S. There's nothing that's going to be done there that's major. China and Russia have set up shop. They're the ones who are calling the shots. Putin has Netanyahu on a short leash. I don't think anything major is going to happen over there. And I think what you said earlier, Bix, is true. I think right now it's all about draining the swamp. It's all about going after the deep state. Everything is about putting in the end to the deep state, all of it. And I think that's also maybe that's why the troops were also deployed to Afghanistan, to tie up loose ends. It's interesting, man. I mean, dude, it's not a coincidence. You had all these major pedo busts. I'm talking major busts, and then Comey gets fired, and now the floodgates are open.
Well, there's a lot of the funding for the bad guys comes from the opium trade out of Afghanistan. So maybe that's part of the troops in Afghanistan thing, is to get the Bush family out of there.
Yeah, that's very, very, very possible.
But who knows? But overall, when you look back on where we are in the transition out of the old system and into something new, I think we're getting very, very close to the good guys giving up totally on the soft landing type of scenario. And I think they're going to say, finally, there'll be a day when the system just stops, the day the earth stood still. And then we can release all these new technologies that are available. We can issue a new form of money. We can get rid of all the debt that's in the world and get rid of the bad guys and move forward. I hope it happens just like clicking a switch, but I fear that it will be dragged on and dragged on. I think it is being dragged on right now. But definitely the key is the bad guys get their funding from the unbacked fiat monetary system. So if we take that system down, they don't have any funding, and nobody's going to follow their lead. Their minions aren't going to follow them unless they get paid for doing it. Right.
Exactly.
And that's probably what Trump told Kissinger when he was sitting in his office today. We're gonna end the deep state. That part of the deep state, yeah. I mean, there's good guys and there's bad guys. The deep state is also part of this breakaway civilization.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, there's bad guys and there's good guys, and where do we sit? Where does humanity sit in the realm of everything else? It's tough to figure out, but clearly things are changing. And hopefully with this Comey announcement and the Trump immediately setting up a meeting with Putin's number 2 guy, immediately going right to the head of the deep state, Kissinger, and telling him something. There was a reason Kissinger showed up at the White House the day after Comey was given the axe. So yeah, I think it's moving along, and I would expect from here on out Trump to not give a shit when CNN says, "Oh my God, what's he doing?"
Yeah, it's funny because it's the entire left. They are so triggered at this point, Bix. They are triggered. They don't know what to do. It's funny watching these idiots.
Trump suckered them in by doing what they wanted, and now it's a classic Trump move. Oh yeah, we're all friends, we're all pals, and then he'll just turn around and nail you. And that's the turn has happened. Now it's 360 Trump, and he's gonna just like a wrecking ball go through there and take out these criminals.
Yep, absolutely. Well, man, I think we've covered the litany of topics here today.
Always fun. I was out in the greenhouse for way too long today. I barely made it to our talk. I get in when I go into my greenhouse, I look at all the poor gardening that I'm doing. I'm not really good. I can grow certain things pretty easily. I should just stick to certain things and show off my green thumb, because I can grow 50 million pole beans and then barter for everything else.
Yeah. I was just knocking down a bacon double cheeseburger and fries over at Five Guys.
I love Five Guys.
Dude, Five Guys is the bombs. It's real food, folks.
It's
real
fat
fresh,
and
handmade.
Fat and salt.
Beautiful. It's like the gift. It's like the best burgers. Dude,
like
I had mine all the way with grilled jalapenos. Man, that was good.
Gotta love those. Now I'm getting hungry.
Love Five Guys.
No,
If you haven't tried Five Guys, go find a Five Guys and eat it. It's freaking awesome. It's real food. Great stuff.
It is. It sits in your stomach like a lead weight, though.
Yep, that's why now I'm gonna, after this call, I got some time, so I'm just gonna go to the gym, throw around some 100-pound dumbbells.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Sounds good.
Then I'm gonna swing on the vine and make gorilla noises.
You, I want to be like you.
Scare the people. That's what I'm gonna do. He's a brute.
Well, keep up what you're doing, because I think a lot of the alt media is getting discouraged because they no longer make money for what we're doing. But I think it's important that we do it, and I think
Absolutely.
I think it will change too. I think when the secrets are revealed of what was going on, YouTube's going to be begging for the return of the alt media. So we'll see what happens.
And they better do it soon, because what's going to happen is, it's only a matter of time before some disruptive platform arises.
True. But I think with the changes that are imminent, meaning probably into this summer, definitely by the end of the year, I think YouTube will pull a 360 as well, just because that's what the people will demand. Some real news, instead of, once it's shown that what YouTube was censoring was the real news, and the fake news is what is being allowed to be advertised on. So I think it's great changes. So don't give up, don't leave YouTube and quit all your subscribers. Although they tend to be taking subscribers away somehow. They are really going after Sean at SGT Report. Because he refuses to back down on the topics that he deals with, and we need that. We need him there, and people like him. So keep it up, guys.
Will do, buddy. You too as well. Thank you for being on, and give out your plug for your subscriber services, man.
Sure. My website is roadtoruta.com, and I used to just write articles. In the past 3 or 4 months, I've been doing pretty much only YouTube. But I'm going to get to a balance where it's half YouTube, half articles, because there's a lot of information that people didn't know about our financial system and the rigging and how the rigging was done, and gold and silver rigging, and who invented the computer programs that rigged the markets and all that. So I've been trying to get that out on YouTube, because it's a completely different audience. But also I understand that people like the written word still, so I'm going to go back in, and I do a lot of my better research by writing it down and, analyzing what the Fed said 50 years ago. And some real revelations came out, and I want to get back into doing that. So sign up at roadtoruta.com. You get a free book. And then the YouTube channel is at Road to Ruta. I think it's at Road to Ruta. And I post something almost just about daily. So check it out.
Cool beans. And with that being said, guys, you can follow us on roguemoney.net. There's going to be some great articles up, as well as you can check us out on After Rogue Money, and well as the Rogue Money Facebook page. We're also on podcasting, so check us out on the Apple podcasts, iTunes. We're there. Google Play Store, we're there, and Apple News, we're there. Soon to be on
everywhere.
As well. We're everywhere you want us to be. Say, you give us 45 minutes, we'll give you the world. Tune it in right here.
Good.
All right, guys. Thank you all for listening in. Bix, have an awesome week. Be safe out there, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I wouldn't even dream of it.
Thank you, sir. Take it away, CJ.